Welcome back. We're joined now by a man who is a distinguished freedom fighter for those in his native land, known for many years as East Turkistan, a nation enslaved by communist China, which calls the region Xinjiang. His name is Salih Hudayar. He is the founder of East Turkistan Awakening and has been elected the Prime Minister of the East Turkistan government in exile. You can follow him at Salih Hudayar. It's good to have you with us, Salih. Thank you for taking a few minutes to join us.
Thank you for having me.
I'm anxious to sort of set the stage for our conversation by just getting your take on the genocide that has been formally designated as such in the region known as Xinjiang by the Chinese communists and East Turkestan by, I think, the rest of us. What is actually going on at the moment, and why does it rise to the level of genocide?
So for the past 71 years since the Chinese Communist Party took over China and took over East Turkestan, they have been engaging in slow motion colonization and more recently genocide. In recent years, with the unveiling of China's Belt and Road Initiative, China began to lock up millions of Uyghurs. The U.S. Department of Defense states that it's 3 million, possibly more, into what they call vocational training and re-education camps, but what has commonly been described as concentration camps. In these facilities, people are subject to forced political indoctrination, which is brainwashing, rape, torture, forced medication, organ harvesting, and even summary execution.
This is going on and has been now for some time on a scale that's as you say, almost unimaginable. 3 million people, maybe more. And the rest of the population that isn't actually incarcerated is, of course, being very severely oppressed as well. One aspect of this is, of course, that we're seeing those in the West, American companies among them, that are enabling this practice, in part through investment in some of the surveillance companies that are enabling the Chinese to engage in this kind of repression, some buying the products that have been manufactured using slave labor, forced labor of Uyghurs and other ethnic minorities in that region. This has prompted you to bring, I think quite commendably, to the International Criminal Court a case seeking sanctions against the Chinese officials responsible for this kind of oppression. Talk a bit about this case and where it stands now.
So last July, we launched a formal complaint to the International Criminal Court to investigate senior Chinese officials, including President Xi Jinping, for genocide and other crimes against humanity. We want to see them, prosecuted the same way that the Nazis were prosecuted during the Nuremberg trial, and the same way that the Serbian and other war criminals were tried during the Yugoslavian trial. Initially, last December, the ICC Office of the Prosecutor stated that they didn't have enough evidence to establish jurisdiction, given that China is not a member of the ICC. However, Tajikistan, which is a member of the ICC and neighbor of East Turkestan, has been complicit in deporting Uyghurs. We recently, yesterday, submitted a new filing with evidence highlighting that between the years of 2016 and 2018, the Uyghur population in Tajikistan has been severely dwindled from 3,000 to less than roughly about 100 as a result of direct Chinese interference, abducting Uyghurs, in small groups of 10 to avoid international attention, and by, establishing direct Chinese military facilities and bases within the territories of Tajikistan itself.
I have to confess, been less than enthusiastic about the International Criminal Court over the years, partly because people insist that countries like ours, and Israel notably, that have highly developed judicial systems must be subjected to the court. But clearly, if ever there were a case that is worthy of such an effort, because justice is not known in any real sense of the word in communist China, this would be such a case. And I hope in both Tajikistan and in China, Salih, you're going to be able to find a way to hold accountable the Chinese Communist Party, its officials, and the enterprise more generally for this horrific crime against humanity that is ongoing and seemingly intensifying as well. Let me ask you in closing just a very quick question. We are now positioned as a nation, among many others, to legitimize the government that is engaged in this kind of horror, among many others, by sending athletes to Olympic Games in the winter of 2022, in next February. What would your position be and that of Uyghurs and others who are horrified by what the Chinese are doing, both to your people and to the rest of us, for that matter?
Well, by sending athletes and even diplomats to observe these games, not only are the Western countries like the United States giving China, prestige, but they're also giving them a green light to continue the genocide and other crimes.
Exactly.
So we're calling on them to boycott the Beijing Olympics, and we've been calling on the International Olympic Committee to relocate it to either one of the other two contenders, which is one
Amen.
Oslo, Norway.
We have to leave it at that. Salih Hudayar, thank you for your leadership on behalf of your people and the message that you're conveying to the rest of us. And thanks to the rest of you for joining us for this edition of Securing America. I hope you feel better equipped to join us in doing just that. And for more on what you can do, visit our website, securingamerica.tv. And I hope that after you do so, take aboard the information there, pass it on, and go forth and multiply.